Imagine this. The world you see, the experiences you feel, everything around you, from the people you interact with to the events that unfold, may not be real. What if all of it, our existence, reality itself, was just a sophisticated computer simulation created by an advanced civilization? This is the central idea behind the simulation theory, a concept that blurs the line between science fiction and scientific speculation. But simulation theory didn't appear out of nowhere. Its roots trace back through the corridors of philosophy, science, and technology. In this chapter, we'll explore where the idea originated, the historical and philosophical influences that shaped it, and the main question it raises: are we living in a simulated reality? This question is not only intellectually thrilling, but also one that challenges our deepest perceptions of existence and consciousness. Simulation theory may sound modern, but its roots can be found as far back as ancient philosophy. The idea of questioning reality has fascinated philosophers for millennia. Plato, one of ancient Greece's most celebrated thinkers, introduced an early thought experiment known as the allegory of the cave. In this allegory, prisoners are chained inside a cave, seeing only shadows projected on the walls, believing these shadows are the entirety of reality. They are unaware of the true world outside the cave, which remains hidden from them. Plato's allegory illustrated the limits of human perception and the potential of unseen realities. Even though Plato wasn't proposing a computer simulation, his work touched on the nature of reality and perception, concepts central to the simulation theory. His questions resonate today. Are we like prisoners in a cave, perceiving only a shadow of what is real? Centuries later, philosopher René Descartes expanded on this theme with his own skeptical approach. Descartes famously questioned reality by proposing that everything he experienced might be the result of a deceptive demon manipulating his senses. His conclusion, cogito ergo sum, I think therefore I am, asserted that the act of thinking was the only indisputable proof of his existence. This notion of radical doubt, or doubting everything except one's own consciousness, plays directly into simulation theory by challenging whether our senses can truly be trusted. These ideas would only grow more complex with the rise of modern technology and scientific discovery. Fast forward to the 20th century, a time of rapid technological advancement and scientific discovery. As computers evolved, so too did our capacity to imagine new forms of reality. One of the first major thinkers to bridge technology and philosophy in this context was science fiction author Philip K. Dick. In works like The Matrix, Dick explored simulated realities, and his novels frequently touched on themes of artificial intelligence, virtual realities, and the nature of consciousness. However, it wasn't until philosopher Nick Bostrom published his 2003 paper, Are You Living in a Computer Simulation?, that simulation theory became a topic of serious academic debate. Bostrom's argument was elegantly simple, yet profoundly disturbing. He proposed a trilemma that suggests at least one of the following three possibilities is true. 1. Advanced civilizations will likely go extinct before they develop the technology to simulate conscious beings. 2. If such civilizations do exist, they probably wouldn't be interested in running simulations of their ancestors. 3. If they have both the capability and the interest, then it's highly probable that we are living in a simulation, as the number of simulated worlds would vastly outnumber the original, base, reality. Bostrom's argument reframed the discussion around simulation theory by giving it a statistical, probability-driven foundation. In essence, if technology could allow for countless simulated realities, what are the odds we're living in the real one? Bostrom's paper sparked a wave of interest and debate, drawing attention from scientists, philosophers, and tech visionaries alike. Since Bostrom, numerous influential figures have weighed in on simulation theory, either supporting, questioning, or expanding upon it. One of the most notable supporters is Elon Musk, who famously stated that there's a 1 in billions chance we're living in base reality. Musk argues that if we look at the evolution of video games, we can see how, in just a few decades, we've gone from pixelated games to immersive virtual worlds. With such rapid advancements, he suggests, it's almost inevitable that an advanced civilization could create a simulation indistinguishable from reality. Physicist Neil deGrasse Tyson also finds the idea compelling, though he's less convinced. Tyson sees it as an interesting possibility, but remains cautious, emphasizing that even if we were in a simulation, the nature of our reality as we experience it would remain unchanged. We would still follow the laws of physics within the simulation, meaning the discovery wouldn't fundamentally alter how we live. Others, like theoretical physicist David Chalmers, approach simulation theory from a philosophical angle, questioning what consciousness itself might mean in a simulated world. If we are in a simulation, does it mean our experiences are less real than those of beings in the original reality? Chalmers argues that, simulated or not, our experiences hold intrinsic value. These voices represent a spectrum of views within the simulation theory debate, from enthusiastic support to skeptical caution, yet all agree on one thing. The implications of this idea are profound and potentially transformative. While early philosophers laid the theoretical foundation, it's modern technology that has brought simulation theory to life. Over the past few decades, advancements in virtual reality and artificial intelligence have fueled the possibility of creating simulated worlds. In 2012, for example, the video game Minecraft demonstrated how entire worlds could be constructed and interacted with in real time. Though simple in design, Minecraft inspired the imagination of both developers and players, showing how easily people could immerse themselves in digital environments. In parallel, artificial intelligence has made strides in simulating human-like interactions. With AI like OpenAI's GPT series and neural networks capable of creating lifelike conversations, we're inching closer to virtual environments populated by intelligent, interactive characters. These developments may seem rudimentary now, but if we consider the trajectory of exponential technological growth, creating a complex, realistic simulation isn't as far-fetched as it once seemed. Further advancements in quantum computing could potentially allow for simulations so complex that they could replicate entire universes, down to the tiniest details. Quantum computers operate on principles that traditional computers can't, using quantum bits to process information at incredible speeds. This computational power could, hypothetically, allow for a simulation capable of mimicking the complexities of consciousness, physics, and human experience. The main question simulation theory raises isn't just about technology or philosophy, it's about understanding reality itself. Are we truly experiencing life, or are we characters in a simulated narrative created by beings far more advanced than us? Supporters argue that the odds favor the simulation hypothesis. If future civilizations create thousands or even millions of simulations, the probability that we are in the original or base reality becomes infinitesimally small. From a statistical standpoint, it's much more likely that we're within one of these simulations. Skeptics, however, argue that even if simulations become possible, that doesn't necessarily mean they'll be interested in simulating ancestors. They question the practical and ethical motivations behind such simulations, suggesting that it might not be a natural inclination for an advanced species. But suppose simulation theory is true. Would that knowledge change anything about how we experience life? Some say it would diminish the meaning of human existence, reducing us to mere code, stripped of free will and agency. Others argue that if we are simulated, it doesn't lessen the authenticity of our experiences. The simulated pain we feel is real to us. The love and joy we experience are genuine, even if they're programmed. As we close this chapter, it's clear that simulation theory isn't just a technical concept. It's a profound question about existence, consciousness, and the nature of reality itself. The simulation theory isn't just a philosophical idea. It's one that aligns with some of the most intriguing and complex areas of modern science. Scientific exploration, particularly in physics and cosmology, has revealed peculiarities about the universe that suggest it could be artificially constructed. Paired with advancements in digital technology, including virtual reality and artificial intelligence, these discoveries give us scientific arguments to support the possibility that we're living in a simulated reality. One of the most convincing scientific angles supporting simulation theory comes from physics, where certain behaviors of particles hint at an underlying code. Quantum mechanics is a central aspect here, especially through the phenomenon of quantum indeterminacy. In the quantum world, particles can exist in multiple states until observed, a process known as wave function collapse. This phenomenon, where particles seem to choose a state when observed, has led some to theorize that our universe might be akin to a rendered video game, with details loading only when we pay attention to them. Furthermore, quantum entanglement challenges the concept of locality. When two particles are entangled, changing the state of one particle instantly changes the state of the other, even if they are light years apart. This instantaneous communication appears almost too efficient to be natural in a physical world bound by the speed of light, and some suggest it might be evidence of a hidden, non-physical link, similar to how digital objects communicate in a computer simulation. Another area of physics that raises questions is the Planck length, the smallest measurement of space possible. Everything in our universe, including time, breaks down beyond this minuscule scale. Just as pixels are the smallest unit in a digital screen, the Planck length suggests there might be a resolution limit in our universe, implying a kind of granularity similar to digital simulations. This resolution could indicate that the universe itself might be a finely constructed digital construct. Cosmology, the study of the universe as a whole, offers its own mysterious clues. One of the most baffling concepts in cosmology is the anthropic principle, which posits that the universe appears precisely fine-tuned for life. If the constants of physics, the force of gravity, the speed of light, or the strength of electromagnetic forces were even slightly different, life as we know it wouldn't be possible. Why is the universe so finely calibrated? Simulation theorists propose that this tuning might be intentional, designed by creators of a simulation to allow for conscious beings. Moreover, the cosmic microwave background radiation, often considered the afterglow of the Big Bang, reveals patterns that seem unusually ordered. This order has led some researchers to propose that it could be a product of some kind of cosmic computation, akin to how developers might create the background of a simulated environment. If the universe's starting conditions were programmed, the background radiation could be an echo of those initial programming settings. Additionally, recent theories like holographic principles suggest that our universe may be a kind of three-dimensional projection of a two-dimensional reality. If this is true, it aligns well with simulation theory. Our reality could be akin to a holographic image projected by a more fundamental underlying code or data set. The concept of the universe as a hologram, containing all information within a two-dimensional surface that projects a 3D image, closely mirrors how computer simulations store data in lower dimensional arrays to simulate higher dimensions. The strides we're making in digital technology bring simulation theory closer to the realm of possibility. Today's virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR technologies can immerse us in environments that feel real, blurring the lines between the digital and the physical. While these experiences are still rudimentary compared to our own reality, the pace of advancement suggests that future VR systems could achieve realism indistinguishable from real life. Artificial intelligence, AI, is another critical component. In video games and simulations, AI is used to create non-player characters that mimic real-life behaviors. As AI becomes more sophisticated, it can simulate human-like personalities and even exhibit learning and adaptation. In a fully developed simulation, AI could be used to create inhabitants of a virtual world that are indistinguishable from real people. Our reality, if simulated, could be populated by advanced AI programs designed to mimic human thoughts, actions, and emotions. Quantum computing could theoretically power such simulations. Unlike classical computers, which process data in binary, quantum computers can process massive amounts of information simultaneously through quantum bits. A sufficiently advanced quantum computer could handle the vast amount of data required to simulate an entire universe down to individual atoms and particles. The sheer processing power required is immense, but in the realm of future technology, it's conceivable that advanced civilizations could harness quantum computing for this purpose. Simulation theorists propose that, with enough computing power, it's entirely possible to simulate entire worlds, even universes, indistinguishable from base reality. While today we can only create basic simulations, the exponential growth in technology suggests that we may one day reach a point where full immersion simulations are not only possible, but common. The concept of a programmable universe is more than speculation. It's grounded in mathematics. Renowned physicist James Gates discovered what he described as error-correcting codes, embedded within the equations of string theory. These codes are identical to those used in computer browsers, which ensure information transfer without corruption. Gates' findings have raised profound questions. Why would fundamental physics equations contain error-correcting codes unless they were designed by a higher intelligence? Moreover, the mathematics of the universe displays remarkable symmetry and order that some scientists suggest are indicative of programming. In digital simulations, symmetry is often a result of efficient coding. By creating one set of rules, simulations can replicate environments with minimal variation. The presence of symmetry in nature, from the fractal patterns in snowflakes to the complex geometry of cellular structures, could be suggestive of a structured, coded universe. Additionally, simulation theorists point to the fact that physical laws, such as the laws of thermodynamics, operate like rules in a game or program, universally consistent and unbreakable. These laws could be compared to programmed parameters that govern the behavior of a simulated world. In this context, physical laws are like the coded rules in a video game, defining and limiting the way elements interact within the system. Despite the profound implications of simulation theory, testing it scientifically is challenging. However, there are a few proposed methods that could potentially indicate whether our universe is a simulation. One of the most ambitious involves detecting anomalies in the cosmic background radiation. If our universe were a simulation, theorists argue, there might be detectable glitches or irregularities, like artifacts in a computer graphic, that reveal the underlying system. Physicist Silas Bean proposed a novel way to detect these glitches. He suggested that if our universe is simulated on a grid, similar to the pixel grid in a computer display, we might find subtle inconsistencies at the smallest scales of reality. Specifically, if particles or forces behave differently in certain configurations, it could indicate a kind of pixelation or discrete structure that only exists in simulations. Another approach theorists are exploring is the idea of unpredictable phenomena. In most computer simulations, random numbers are generated algorithmically, meaning that they're not truly random but follow predictable patterns. If we could detect underlying patterns in what appears to be random cosmic or quantum events, it might suggest we are observing preset parameters rather than true randomness. Discovering such patterns would hint that our universe may be generated by a computational process. Additionally, experiments on free will and consciousness could offer insights. Some simulation proponents argue that consciousness itself might be an artifact of the simulated environment. If researchers could pinpoint the origins of consciousness or observe limitations to conscious experience tied to certain brain functions, it could imply a kind of programming limit, consistent with a simulated reality. While simulation theory remains speculative, it is grounded in genuine scientific curiosity and some compelling evidence. Physics, cosmology, and digital simulation technology all reveal clues that point to the possibility that our universe is not the base reality. Quantum mechanics presents us with mysteries that resemble programmed environments. Cosmology shows us a universe that appears finely tuned. And advancements in digital technology demonstrate that creating lifelike simulations is well within the realm of future possibility. If we are indeed living in a simulation, it opens a doorway to countless other questions. Who created the simulation and why? Are there other simulated worlds, or is ours the only one? The scientific case for simulation theory might not provide concrete answers, but it does challenge us to rethink what we know about the nature of reality. As we continue to make strides in science and technology, we may one day uncover the true fabric of our universe, and perhaps find ourselves looking at the code that makes up our world. The exploration of simulation theory inevitably leads us to the realm of philosophy. Philosophical inquiries challenge the very foundation of our understanding of reality, existence, and consciousness. In this chapter, we will delve into key philosophical perspectives: determinism, Cartesian skepticism, and Nick Bostrom's simulation argument, to better comprehend the implications of the notion that we may exist in a simulated reality. Determinism posits that every event, including human actions, is determined by preceding events in accordance with the laws of nature. If our universe is a simulation, this raises profound questions about free will. Are we mere puppets controlled by the programmers of the simulation, or do we possess genuine autonomy in our decisions? To explore this, we can consider compatibilism, a philosophical stance that seeks to reconcile determinism with free will. Compatibilists argue that even in a deterministic universe, free will can still exist if defined as the ability to act according to one's motivations without external constraints. From this perspective, even if we are in a simulation, our experiences and decisions can still hold meaning. However, if we dig deeper into determinism, we face the problem of predictability. If everything is predetermined, can our future be predicted? Simulations often have specific algorithms that govern the behavior of the characters and environments within them. If our lives are part of such a simulation, it suggests that our paths might be laid out in advance, making our choices illusory. Quantum mechanics shatters the illusion of strict determinism. The uncertainty principle reveals a world where predictability crumbles. At the quantum level, events dance unpredictably, hinting at genuine randomness. This sparks a thrilling question. If our universe is a simulation, could the programmers have woven in randomness to grant us true free will? Imagine the implications. Are we just algorithms bound by rigid codes, or do we hold the power to shape our own destinies? In stark contrast, the implications of quantum mechanics challenge strict determinism. The uncertainty principle posits that at the quantum level, events are not entirely predictable. If the universe operates on a quantum level, then determinism may not hold entirely, opening a door for genuine randomness and, by extension, free will. This conundrum invites us to contemplate: if our universe is a simulation, is it possible that the programmers have coded in some level of randomness to allow for true agency? Ultimately, the question of determinism in a simulated universe raises fundamental inquiries about existence. Are we mere algorithms operating under a set of preordained rules, or do we possess an inherent ability to shape our destinies? This tantalizing conundrum invites us to explore the essence of existence. In a universe of possibilities, what does it mean to be truly free? The answers await. René Descartes is famously known for his philosophical skepticism, encapsulated in the statement, "Cogito, ergo sum," I think, therefore I am. Descartes questioned the very nature of reality, proposing that the only certainty we can hold on to is the existence of our own consciousness. If we accept that we might live in a simulation, Descartes' skepticism becomes all the more relevant. Descartes introduced the idea of an evil demon, a hypothetical being that could deceive us into believing a false reality. This concept is strikingly similar to the simulation theory, where an unseen programmer or a group of programmers creates a fabricated reality. If a powerful entity can manipulate our perceptions, how can we ever truly know what is real? This brings to light the brain in a vat scenario, a modern philosophical thought experiment. Imagine a brain that is kept alive in a vat and connected to a computer that simulates experiences. The brain perceives the simulated reality as genuine, though it is merely an illusion. This skepticism leads us to ponder the implications of perceptual knowledge. If our senses are unreliable, what can we truly know about the world around us? Every experience we have could be a constructed narrative, and our perception of reality may merely be a product of sophisticated programming. Thus, the core question arises: how do we differentiate between what is real and what is simulated? Moreover, Descartes' skepticism challenges our understanding of reality's nature. If everything we perceive can be doubted, it prompts an exploration of what it means to exist. The simulation argument suggests that, if we are indeed in a simulation, then the nature of existence is layered, with our reality being just one possible simulation among countless others. As we contemplate the implications of Cartesian skepticism in a simulated universe, we are left with a haunting inquiry. If reality is nothing more than an elaborate simulation, what does it mean to be human? Are we merely reflections of our programming, or do we possess an essence that transcends our simulated existence? One of the most compelling contemporary discussions surrounding simulation theory comes from philosopher Nick Bostrom. His simulation argument posits three possibilities regarding the existence of advanced civilizations and their likelihood of creating simulations. Almost all civilizations at our level of technological development go extinct before becoming technologically mature. Almost all technologically mature civilizations lose interest in creating simulations of their evolutionary history. We are almost certainly living in a simulation. Bostrom suggests that if the first two propositions are false, it implies that advanced civilizations are likely creating a multitude of simulations, thus increasing the probability that we are part of one of these simulations. This line of reasoning posits that if simulations can be created, and if multiple simulations exist, then the probability of existing in the original reality diminishes. To understand the ramifications of Bostrom's argument, we must consider the ethics of simulation creation. If advanced civilizations can simulate realities, what responsibilities do they hold towards their simulated inhabitants? Are these beings entitled to rights, or are they simply constructs devoid of real moral consideration? This inquiry leads us to the concept of moral realism, which questions the existence of moral truths independent of our perceptions. In a simulated world, the lines of ethical accountability could become blurred, raising profound moral questions. Bostrom's argument also intersects with concepts of transhumanism, a movement that advocates for the transformation of the human condition through advanced technologies. If we consider the notion of digital immortality, uploading consciousness into a simulated environment, the desire for existence beyond physical limitations adds another layer of complexity. Would such beings still hold individuality, or would they become mere copies of their former selves, living in an environment designed by another? Furthermore, Bostrom's argument challenges the understanding of reality's temporal aspect. If our universe is a simulation, how does this affect our understanding of time? Are the events that transpire preordained within the simulation, or do they represent a continuum of experiences? The implications ripple outwards, influencing our perceptions of existence, legacy, and the nature of progress. In this light, the simulation argument provides fertile ground for philosophical inquiry, challenging us to grapple with the nature of reality, existence, and consciousness. It propels us into deeper questions about our place in the universe, inviting us to explore the ethical and moral dimensions of potentially being part of a greater simulation. The implications of simulation theory resonate deeply with existentialism, a philosophical movement that emphasizes individual existence, freedom, and choice. If our reality is a simulation, what does this mean for the search for meaning? Existentialist thinkers such as Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus emphasize the absurdity of life and the individual's quest for meaning in an indifferent universe. In a simulated world, the quest for meaning becomes even more complex. If our lives are predetermined by code, do our choices carry the same weight? Sartre argued that individuals must create their own meaning through choices and actions. In a simulated environment, however, the question of authenticity arises. Are our choices genuine, or are they simply outcomes programmed into the simulation? Additionally, the notion of absurdism, as articulated by Camus, suggests that human beings continuously search for meaning in a universe devoid of inherent purpose. If we accept that we might be living in a simulation, we confront the absurdity of existence head-on. The search for meaning in a world that may not be real raises profound questions. How do we derive significance from our experiences? Is meaning something we can fabricate even in a simulated existence? This existential dilemma invites us to reflect on the nature of human relationships. If our interactions are merely simulated, do our connections hold any intrinsic value? Existentialism posits that relationships are essential to understanding oneself and constructing meaning. However, in a simulation, relationships might be mere shadows, devoid of depth or authenticity. This leads to inquiries about emotional experiences. If we can feel love, joy, or pain within a simulation, does that not confer a sense of reality upon those feelings? Thus, the existential perspective prompts us to evaluate our relationship with the simulated world. We may need to redefine what it means to live authentically and search for meaning, even in a potentially fabricated reality. The philosophical exploration of simulation theory leads us to consider its implications for our understanding of reality, existence, and consciousness. If we are indeed living in a simulation, it could imply that reality is not a singular, objective truth, but rather a layered construct. The ontological status of simulated beings becomes a focal point of philosophical inquiry. Are simulated beings, like characters in a game, truly conscious, or are they mere reflections of their programming? If they can experience emotions and form relationships, do they possess a form of consciousness? This inquiry invites us to reassess the nature of consciousness itself. If consciousness can emerge from algorithms, it raises profound questions about the essence of our own consciousness. Moreover, the idea of multiple realities challenges our understanding of what it means to be human. If our reality is one of many simulated experiences, how do we define our uniqueness? The concept of identity in a simulated world raises questions about the essence of self. Are we merely avatars shaped by the parameters of the simulation, or do we possess an intrinsic identity that transcends our programmed existence? As we reflect on the philosophical implications of simulation theory, we encounter the profound question of truth. What constitutes truth in a world where perceptions can be manipulated? The potential for deception within a simulation urges us to consider how we ascertain knowledge and what it means to understand reality. In conclusion, the exploration of simulation theory through philosophical perspectives unveils complex questions about existence, consciousness, and identity. Each philosophical lens provides unique insights into the implications of living in a simulated reality, inviting us to engage in deeper contemplation of our place in the universe. Ultimately, these inquiries challenge us to redefine the nature of our existence and the meaning we derive from it, regardless of whether we inhabit a simulated world or a tangible one. As we venture deeper into the intricacies of simulation theory, we confront the essential question of technological feasibility. Can our current understanding of technology, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality support the idea that future civilizations might create fully immersive simulated realities? In this chapter, we will explore the advancements in technology, the current state of artificial intelligence, and the role of virtual and augmented reality in assessing the plausibility of such simulations. The foundation of any simulated reality rests on the computing power available to create and manage complex environments and interactions. Over the past few decades, we have witnessed an exponential growth in computing capabilities. The Moore's Law, which predicts that the number of transistors on a microchip doubles approximately every 2 years, has driven this technological advancement. This increase in processing power allows for more intricate simulations and greater realism in virtual environments. To comprehend the magnitude of this growth, we can consider the computational power of early computers. The ENIAC, developed in the 1940s, had a processing speed of about 5,000 operations per second. In contrast, modern devices can execute trillions of operations per second, thanks to multi-core processors and advanced architectures. This growth not only enhances the capacity for data processing, but also enables real-time simulations that mirror complex physical systems, such as weather patterns or the interactions of particles at the quantum level. Looking forward, we encounter quantum computing, which holds the potential to revolutionize simulation capabilities. Unlike traditional computers, which process information in binary form, zeros and ones, quantum computers utilize qubits that can exist in multiple states simultaneously. This characteristic allows quantum computers to perform calculations at speeds that are unattainable by classical systems, making them exceptionally suited for handling the complex algorithms required for realistic simulations. If future civilizations can harness the full potential of quantum computing, the feasibility of creating hyper-realistic simulated realities becomes increasingly plausible. With the ability to process vast amounts of data and run complex simulations in real time, these civilizations might design experiences that are indistinguishable from what we perceive as reality. Artificial intelligence, AI, plays a pivotal role in the development of simulated realities. For a simulation to be immersive, it must feature intelligent agents capable of independent decision-making and realistic interactions. The current advancements in AI technology provide a glimpse into what the future may hold. Recent breakthroughs in machine learning and neural networks have propelled AI capabilities to new heights. Programs like OpenAI's GPT-3 can generate human-like text, respond contextually to questions, and even simulate conversations. These advancements showcase the potential for AI to create characters that can learn, adapt, and respond in meaningful ways within a simulated environment. To explore this further, we can look at AI's role in video games. Modern games feature non-player characters, NPCs, that exhibit increasingly complex behaviors. Using techniques like behavior trees and finite state machines, game developers create NPCs that can respond to player actions in real time, simulating lifelike interactions. As AI continues to evolve, we can anticipate NPCs that exhibit emotional depth, remember past interactions, and even learn from players, making the simulation feel more authentic. However, the challenge lies in creating AI that possesses genuine consciousness or self-awareness. While current AI systems can simulate certain aspects of human behavior, they lack the qualia, the subjective experience of sensations. Philosophers often question whether a sufficiently advanced AI could truly experience emotions or consciousness, or if it merely simulates these traits without authentic understanding. This debate complicates the feasibility of creating a simulated reality populated by beings that appear to possess consciousness. As we look toward the future, the integration of AI with virtual and augmented reality, VR/AR systems, will further enhance the depth of simulations. Imagine a VR environment where AI-driven characters engage in meaningful dialogue, learn from their experiences, and evolve in response to user interactions. The combination of advanced AI with immersive VR has the potential to blur the lines between reality and simulation, creating experiences that are not only entertaining, but philosophically profound. The rise of virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR technologies, marks a significant leap in our ability to create and experience simulated environments. VR immerses users in a completely virtual world, while AR overlays digital elements onto the physical world, enhancing our perception of reality. Current VR systems, such as the Oculus Rift and HTC Vive, allow users to engage in fully immersive experiences, from gaming to virtual meetings. These systems utilize advanced motion tracking, haptic feedback, and high-resolution displays to create environments that feel remarkably real. As technology continues to advance, we can expect even more sophisticated systems capable of delivering experiences that engage all the senses. One of the most exciting developments in this field is the incorporation of haptic technology, which provides tactile feedback to users, simulating the sensation of touch. By incorporating haptic feedback into VR experiences, users can feel the weight of virtual objects, the texture of surfaces, and even the resistance of movements. This sensory feedback enhances the realism of the simulation and deepens the user's immersion. As we explore the potential for creating simulated realities, we must also consider the implications of collective virtual experiences. Future advancements may allow for multiple users to interact within the same simulated environment, leading to shared experiences that mimic real-life social interactions. This collective aspect of VR can create communities that transcend physical boundaries, providing opportunities for collaboration, education, and exploration. The development of AR technologies, such as Microsoft's HoloLens, further expands the possibilities for creating simulations. By blending digital information with the real world, AR can enhance our everyday experiences while providing interactive elements that enrich our understanding of our surroundings. For instance, AR applications could overlay historical information on landmarks or provide real-time translations during conversations, creating a seamless integration of digital and physical realities. However, with these advancements come ethical considerations. As our ability to create immersive simulations grows, we must grapple with the potential for misuse. The creation of hyper-realistic simulations raises concerns about addiction, manipulation, and the blurring of lines between reality and fiction. How do we ensure that individuals can distinguish between genuine experiences and simulated ones? What responsibilities do creators have in designing these environments? Despite the promising advancements in technology, several theoretical considerations must be addressed regarding the creation-simulated realities. One significant challenge lies in the complexity of human consciousness and the nature of subjective experience. While we can simulate behaviors and interactions, can we truly replicate consciousness itself? The hard problem of consciousness, as articulated by philosopher David Chalmers, questions how subjective experiences arise from physical processes. Even if we were to create an AI that mimics human behavior perfectly, does it mean that this AI possesses consciousness? This question complicates the feasibility of creating simulated realities populated by conscious beings. Furthermore, the limitations of current technology must be acknowledged. Although we have made tremendous strides in computing power, AI, and VR, we are still far from achieving the level of sophistication required to create fully immersive, indistinguishable simulations. Current simulations often suffer from limitations in graphical fidelity, computational resources, and the intricacies of human emotion and behavior. Additionally, there are practical challenges in developing large-scale simulations. The resources required to simulate a vast, complex universe are immense. Even with advancements in computing technology, the infrastructure needed to support such simulations may remain beyond our reach for the foreseeable future. As we explore the potential for creating simulated realities, it is crucial to consider the implications of our technological advancements. What does it mean to live in a world where simulations become increasingly indistinguishable from reality? How do we navigate the ethical considerations that arise from our ability to create immersive environments? As we contemplate the future of simulated realities, we must consider the trajectory of technological advancements and their potential impact on society. The convergence of computing power, artificial intelligence, and virtual augmented reality suggests that we may be moving closer to the possibility of creating immersive simulations that challenge our perceptions of reality. However, the journey toward this technological horizon raises critical questions. What responsibilities do creators and societies have in the development and deployment of such simulations? As we create environments that mimic reality, how do we ensure that individuals maintain a healthy relationship with both virtual and physical worlds? The advent of simulated realities may also reshape our understanding of identity and community. If we inhabit simulated environments, how do we define our relationships with others? The potential for collective experiences in virtual spaces invites reflection on the nature of social interactions and the ways we connect with one another. Furthermore, the ethical implications of simulated realities warrant serious consideration. The creation of hyper-realistic simulations could lead to issues related to addiction, escapism, and the potential for individuals to disengage from the challenges of real life. As we push the boundaries of what is possible, we must ensure that our technological advancements are accompanied by ethical frameworks that prioritize the well-being of individuals and communities. In conclusion, the exploration of technological feasibility in relation to simulation theory reveals both promising advancements and significant challenges. As we stand at the intersection of technology and philosophy, we are invited to contemplate the nature of reality and our place within it. The future of simulated realities remains uncertain, but it beckons us to engage in thoughtful discourse about the implications of our technological capabilities and the ethical responsibilities that accompany them. As we draw our exploration of simulation theory to a close, we encounter profound questions about the implications of living in a simulated reality. If our existence is indeed a product of advanced simulations created by a higher intelligence, the ethical, existential, and societal impacts would be immense. In this chapter, we will delve into these implications, inviting you to reflect on what it means to be human in a world where the boundaries of reality are increasingly blurred. The first area of concern when contemplating a simulated existence lies in the realm of ethics. If we are living in a simulation, what moral obligations do the creators have towards the simulated beings? This question challenges our understanding of rights and responsibilities in a world where existence itself can be engineered. Imagine a scenario where simulations are created for entertainment or research purposes. Would the simulated beings, with their thoughts and experiences, possess rights akin to our own? If these entities can feel pain, joy, and suffering, then denying them the same moral consideration that we afford to living beings would raise serious ethical dilemmas. This scenario compels us to rethink our definitions of personhood and the criteria we use to assign rights and dignity. Furthermore, consider the implications of ethical experimentation within simulations. If simulated beings can experience reality as vividly as we do, what does it mean to subject them to trials or hardships? The potential for abuse arises if creators exploit their power over the simulated entities without ethical constraints. This reality necessitates a framework for accountability, demanding that those who design and operate simulations act with a sense of moral responsibility towards their creations. As we examine the ethical landscape of living in a simulation, we must also confront the nature of deception. If we are being simulated, what does it mean to live in a world where truths can be manipulated? The very fabric of our beliefs and values could be questioned, leading to a crisis of trust not only in our creators, but also in our relationships with one another. If we discover that our reality is a fabrication, how do we navigate the moral implications of that knowledge? Living in a simulated reality raises significant existential questions about the nature of our existence and the meaning of life. If our experiences are orchestrated by external forces, what becomes of free will? Are our choices truly our own, or are they pre-programmed outcomes within the parameters of the simulation? This conundrum mirrors the determinism versus free will debate in philosophy. If we accept that we are living in a simulation, it leads to the unsettling possibility that our lives are scripted, akin to characters in a story written by someone else. The implications of this realization can be both liberating and daunting. On one hand, it might free us from the burden of responsibility. On the other, it could strip our lives of genuine meaning. Moreover, the notion of identity becomes increasingly complex within a simulated existence. If our thoughts, feelings, and memories are merely constructs within a digital framework, how do we define ourselves? The concept of self in a simulated reality could become fluid, as our identities might shift based on the simulation's parameters. This fluidity could foster a sense of liberation, allowing us to explore different facets of our personalities, but it also risks creating an existential void where the essence of who we are is lost. In grappling with these existential implications, we may find ourselves questioning the purpose of life. If our experiences are ultimately predetermined, does life hold inherent meaning? This inquiry invites us to reflect on the value we place on our choices and experiences. Regardless of the nature of our existence, the pursuit of understanding, connection, and growth may still provide a sense of purpose, even within a simulated framework. The potential revelation that we live in a simulation would undoubtedly have profound societal impacts. The collective consciousness of humanity would undergo a seismic shift as we reevaluate our beliefs, values, and institutions. This paradigm shift could lead to both positive and negative consequences. On the positive side, the understanding that we are part of a simulation could foster a greater sense of unity among people. Recognizing our shared existence within a constructed reality might diminish societal divisions based on race, nationality, or ideology. We could come to see ourselves as players in a collective experience, encouraging collaboration and compassion across borders. This realization could lead to a renewed commitment to solving global challenges such as poverty, climate change, and inequality, as we strive to improve the quality of life for all simulated beings. However, the implications of living in a simulation could also lead to chaos and disillusionment. The revelation that our reality is a fabrication could undermine societal structures, eroding trust in institutions, government, and even in one another. If people perceive their lives as mere simulations, it might lead to apathy, nihilism, or existential despair. The motivations that drive individuals to pursue education, career advancement, or social engagement could diminish, as the pursuit of success may feel futile in a predetermined reality. Furthermore, the potential for manipulation by those who control the simulation raises concerns about power dynamics. If a select few have the ability to alter the simulation's rules or outcomes, it could exacerbate existing inequalities. Those in control might exploit their power to shape perceptions and realities, creating a world that serves their interests while leaving others disenfranchised. This possibility necessitates discussions about equity, representation, and justice within a simulated society. The implications of living in a simulation extend beyond ethics, existence, and society into the realms of philosophy and theology. If we accept the premise of simulation theory, we must grapple with profound questions about the nature of reality and the existence of a creator or higher intelligence. From a philosophical standpoint, the acceptance of a simulated reality challenges traditional notions of metaphysics. What is the nature of reality if it can be artificially constructed? This question invites exploration into the essence of being and existence itself. Philosophers like René Descartes and Immanuel Kant have grappled with the nature of reality and perception. The idea that our experiences could be a simulation prompts us to reconsider the foundation of knowledge and existence, potentially leading to new frameworks for understanding the world. Theological implications are equally significant. If we posit the existence of a creator responsible for designing our simulation, it raises questions about the nature of this creator and the relationship between humanity and the divine. Is this creator benevolent, indifferent, or malicious? How do we reconcile traditional religious beliefs with the idea of living in a constructed reality? These inquiries could lead to new interpretations of spirituality and the divine, challenging established doctrines while inviting fresh perspectives on faith and existence. Moreover, the possibility of multiple simulated realities poses intriguing questions about afterlife and reincarnation. If our existence is one of many simulations, what happens after we die in one simulation? Is there a chance to experience a different simulation or even return to a previous one? These questions blur the lines between life, death, and existence, inviting deeper contemplation of our place in the universe. As we conclude this exploration of the implications of living in a simulation, we find ourselves at the intersection of ethics, existence, society, philosophy, and theology. The realization that our reality may be a constructed experience prompts profound inquiries into the nature of our lives and the world around us. While the idea of living in a simulation presents ethical dilemmas and existential questions, it also invites us to reflect on our shared humanity and the connections we forge. Regardless of whether we inhabit a simulated world or a tangible one, our experiences, emotions, and relationships hold value. As we navigate the complexities of this concept, let us remain open to the possibilities that arise. Whether we find ourselves as characters in a grand simulation or participants in the unfolding narrative of life, our journey is shaped by the choices we make and the connections we cultivate. If you found this exploration of simulation theory intriguing and thought-provoking, we invite you to subscribe to The Storyteller for more captivating content. Together, we will continue to explore the mysteries of existence and the stories that shape our understanding of reality. Thank you for joining us on this journey.